24 coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little black subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that black subscribe button. Really does help our audience grow, really does help our channel grow, really does help and mean more than you could possibly know. So go ahead, hit that little black subscribe button. Also, thank you to our presenting sponsor, Betfred Sportsbook and the Betfred Sportsbook app. Bet 50 on any game, get $250 in free bets. Thank you again to Betfred. Thank you again to you. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Real topic of the day, because obviously most of the NFL season is done. We got one game left. We'll probably talk about it on next Friday's show. But why I bring it up is because it's really getting to be that time with college hoops. Really fun time of year. We're starting to figure things out. As I said, Jamie and Christian will join me in a minute, but we have a lot of really interesting games this weekend. Indiana plays Purdue. I think they might be the two best teams in the Big Ten right now. Iowa State hosting Kansas. Kansas all of a sudden hot, but playing a tough Iowa State team that nearly won at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. I've seen ESPN promoting the you-know-what out of Florida at Kentucky. That's the late game on Saturday. I think it's an 8:30 Eastern time start. We have a ranked matchup in the WCC, Gonzaga at St. Mary's. So a lot of really good games this weekend. What I have found interesting, though, is it does feel like there is one game that I don't think is getting the general promotion that it has historically. And it's a game, it's a rivalry between two schools in a little place we call Tobacco Road. North Carolina traveling to Duke. Many of you, as I just said, I bet a lot of you did not even know that this weekend is the first Duke-Carolina game. And I'll just ask you this. Does it feel like Duke and Carolina has gotten less hype than ever before coming into this one? Because it sure feels that way to me. Now, I know what some of you say, Torres, there's no way you can say that it's getting less hype. They're having college game day there, whatever. But what I'll tell you is I do think there's a little bit less hype. I remember previous years, and not even just the crazy final Coach K regular season game last year that was like, ESPN didn't shut up about it for, weeks on end. But I remember previous years, it felt like every time you turn on TV, Duke, Carolina, Duke, they're playing Saturday, they're playing Wednesday. Make sure you watch, do this, do that. It's on every ESPN show. And it feels like over the last couple of days, we really haven't had that. Now, some would say, well, there's less hype because the teams aren't as good. And I do believe that. I think there's probably something to that. Neither team is playing great right now. Carolina's coming off a loss at home to Pitt. Incredibly, Pitt has won 3 of their last 4 at Carolina, which I don't think most people realize. Now, Pitt's pretty good this year, but that's neither here nor there. And on top of that, Duke is only 6-4 in their last 10. Both teams are 7-4 in the ACC. I think most people think Virginia is probably the best team in the ACC. I'll take it a step further. I think NC State is probably the best team in the state of North Carolina. Beat Duke at home, lost to Carolina on the road when their best player, Terquavian Smith, got hurt. And so it just feels like there's not as much buzz. And it feels like, yes, part of it is that neither team is good. Part of it is that both teams have dealt with injuries. Armando Bacot was out. Now he's back for Carolina. Jeremy Roach was out. Now he's back for Duke. Dariq Whitehead was out, is out for Duke as we speak right now. But I'll tell you, I don't think I'm alone in thinking that there's less buzz, or at the very least, less excitement. As a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. On Thursday, I actually put this poll out on Twitter. I said, Duke Carolina, first game, post Coach K. And I said, how are you feeling? Are you excited about Duke and Carolina this weekend? The poll results on Twitter, now they're unscientific. I'm not claiming that Twitter is the Gallup poll or the Nielsen ratings or anything. But I found this very interesting. The options were, I am more excited than ever before, the same level of excitement, less excited, or way less excited. Those were the 4 options. In total, 49% of people said that they are less interested in this ride. 49% said they are way less interested than ever before. 28% said they are less interested. Not great at math. 49 plus 28 should be, in my head, 77%. 3 out of 4 people that responded to this poll, I think it was around 1,000 responses, said they are either less interested or way less interested than ever before. And I'll tell you, I'm with them. And I think there's one reason specifically why I'm less interested. Well, two. One, the teams aren't as good. But the second reason, the reason I want to talk about, something we talked about surrounding the Final Four when these two met in New Orleans last year, I'll be honest. There is one other variable that makes me feel like this game is less intriguing than it's been in a while. That is the absence of Coach K. Now, I know what some of you are saying. You're saying, Torres, but I hate Coach K. I can't stand that guy. That guy was the worst. I'm so happy to see him out of college basketball. To which I would say, maybe you do hate Coach K, but that's kind of the point. Love Coach K, hate Coach K. Love Duke, hate Duke. You cared. You wanted to tune in to watch them win, or you wanted to tune in to watch them lose. There was no middle ground. Nobody has like sort of an opinion on Duke and Coach K. Nobody's like, yeah, I can take him or leave him. Like this isn't, the whatever. Switzerland here. Switzerland's neutral. You were not neutral on Duke with Coach K. You either loved or you hated him. But why I bring it up is because that is the crux of sports, and that is why I think this rivalry is lacking a little juice right now. In sports, listen, the diehard fans are always going to watch. If you're a diehard fan of college basketball, you're going to be on the couch all day Saturday watching as many games as you can. You will obviously watch Duke, Carolina. If you're a diehard Duke fan, you're watching Duke games. If you're a diehard Carolina fan, you're watching Carolina games. But at the same time, what brings in the casual fan, what makes the casual fan want to watch is you need a villain. You need emotion. You need somebody who creates emotion in you when you watch them. It's why when Tom Brady went to Tampa, you still watched Tampa. You never watched Tampa before, but you watched him now because you either loved Tom Brady, you either hated Tom Brady, you either thought that he was the problem in New England and you want to see him fail, or you thought that Bill Belichick was the problem in New England and you want to see him succeed. You were happy that you were happy to see him whatever, or you were disappointed that he got shoved out of town and you wanted to watch. It's the same with the NBA. The ratings, the best ratings are right now the Golden State Warriors. You either love Draymond or you hate him. You either think Steph Curry is overrated or you're like me. You used to think he was overrated and then you've come full circle and realized he's a pretty darn good basketball player. LeBron James creates emotion. Ohio State football creates emotion. Nick Saban in Alabama create emotion. Texas A&M creates emotion. You either want to watch him win or you want to watch him lose, but you're going to tune in to see Jimbo Fisher crash and burn. And so without Coach K, I'll be blunt, I think that was so much of what made this rivalry. And by the way, it's worth noting, I'm a little bit of a college hoops historian. Before Coach K, Dean Smith, in many people's eyes, was the villain. There were a lot of people in ACC country that felt like Dean Smith got all the calls at all the moments, at all the times. It was always Dean Smith. He always got the benefit of the doubt. Then that became Coach K. Now there's really nobody like that, at least in the ACC. And certainly neither of these coaches create emotion. Think about college basketball right now. The teams that you want to watch, again, I think it's the coaches that create emotion in you. Kentucky still draws insane numbers because people either want to see Kentucky crash and burn or they want to see Kentucky succeed. They either hate John Calipari, can't stand him, blah, 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 want to see him lose, or they're a Kentucky fan and love him. It's the same with other teams. Gonzaga. You either love the Gonzaga story, small school, Spokane, Washington, built themselves into a power, or you sit there and say, their schedule is so much easier than everybody else's, I want to watch them lose. Kansas. Well, they get every benefit of the doubt. They always get the calls at home. Bill Self, he's gotten away with some stuff. So you watch Kansas. I take it a step further. I think some of these new guys, Eric Musselman in Arkansas, I know for a fact he drives several of the SEC fan bases crazy. But you watch, you want to see him lose. You're happy when he fails. Unless you're an Arkansas fan, then you want to see him succeed. I think, and maybe I'm too close to it, I think there's a lot of Big East fans that want to see UConn fail because UConn's had success in the past, because Dan Hurley makes all those faces, he yells and he screams, whatever. And so I bring it up because emotion is good in sports. When a person or a game or a team creates emotion, you tune in. How much less are you watching the Patriots right now? But Belichick doesn't create emotion in you anymore. He used to drive you crazy. Now you're just like, he stinks. And right now, I think it's kind of the same with Duke and Carolina. Listen, I cover college basketball for a living. I talk to people in the sport every single day, basically 365 days a year, okay? talking to a former D1 head coach in 10 minutes with Jamie and Christian. But at the same time, I don't know that Jon Scheyer or Hubert Davis create emotion in me. I think I like Hubert Davis, was around him at the Final Four, thought he was really sharp, thought he was a great coach. The players were bought in. But I'm not like standing on a table. I love this guy. He's my guy. I'm going to war with him. It's certainly the same with Jon Scheyer. Like I said, I cover the sport. I don't know if he's interesting, boring, fun, different, this, that, the other thing. And so it's a very interesting idea as we go into this rivalry for the first time post-Coach K, the first time of Hubert Davis versus Jon Scheyer. And I'll go back to something else that I said when Coach K retired last spring. I believe that for the good of this rivalry, for the good of college basketball, and for the good of whatever, I really hope that one of these two programs, if not both, sorry to all the other ACC fan bases, but I hope one of these two programs, if not both, gets really, really, really good. Because as I said at the time, what's going to be best for college basketball, best for the ACC, is if Jon Scheyer is either really good or he's really bad. Okay. And what I mean by that is that you're going to tune in. If he's really good, it's going to drive you crazy because you said they just had Coach K for 40 years. I hated him, but he was kind of pretty good at the end of the day. Or you hope they're really bad. They're kind of like Louisville. They're a complete disaster. They're a train wreck. You got to tune in to see it. What you don't want, though, is what Duke is right now, which is just kind of, they're all right. They're nothing special. They beat Boston College and Virginia Tech and Wake Forest at home. But they got smacked in a couple other road games. They got smacked at NC State. They got smacked at Wake Forest. Oh, by the way, still 2 games against Carolina. They play Virginia this week. And so I bring it up because I just feel like Duke is kind of in that middle ground right now. I want Jon Scheyer to be really good. Not because I'm a Duke fan, but because Duke creates interest. Duke creates excitement in this sport. Duke makes you want to watch these games. Same to a degree with Carolina. I hope Hubert Davis gets really good really fast. Made a Final Four last year. Had the number 1 team in the country this year, and they're struggling. I hope they get hot. He's recruiting well because when they're really good, people care. So that's really my only thought on Duke Carolina. If I had to pick a winner, I'll probably take Duke at home, but it speaks to the fact. I don't know that I got a really strong opinion about this one, but I think there's something to the fact that this game just doesn't feel as big. We don't know the participants. We don't know the coaches. We don't know the players. We know the uniforms, but we don't know Jon Scheyer like we knew Coach K. We don't know Hubert Davis like we knew Dean Smith and Roy Williams. Be interesting to watch on Saturday.